for the second session.
Siguen ustedes, ¿no? Continúan ustedes. Terminamos. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Hiciste la denuncia? ¿Ya hiciste la denuncia?
No pude ir porque lleva. They asked for like CVs, so I sent me a CV, so
Are you ready to start? Okay, so quickly, point of information. As you all know, every year we have a CIOFF annual report. Due to the absence of the Secretary General, building the report has been longer than required. So we will take this item at another session during our General Assembly. The draft is ready. I just need to get it approved by everyone before, and then we need to get it printed so you can have a copy in front of you to adopt it. ¿Necesita en español? Okay. Perfect. So next, report of CIOFF UNESCO cooperation. Magdalena? Of course.
Hello everybody, dear friends. As since 2010, when I was elected for the first time representative of CIOFF to UNESCO, I presented my report in a written way. You have received it on 26th of October, so I hope you had time to read it. If not, I will very briefly go through the work I have done since last Congress. You remember it was in Budapest, and this is the report on CIOFF UNESCO cooperation from November 21 to November 22. There are people who think that if somebody from CIOFF is going to UNESCO building every day or many times, that this will be the way to reinforce our cooperation. I have to tell you that this is far from the truth, because whenever you have to ask UNESCO for another kind of cooperation with them, they will send you a questionnaire. And on this questionnaire, there are never questions. How many times have you been to the headquarters? How many coffees? How many meetings? How many discussions with very important people you had there? On the contrary, there are questions. How many UNESCO meetings have you attended? How many times have you been to UNESCO General Conference? When? Which year? How many persons? And so on. That's why maybe it's annoying to list the attendance of CIOFF representatives or also some other people to UNESCO events. But this is crucial. So I will, as I said, I will give you a short report of what happened and where we were during this 1 year. The first event happened exactly when we were already at Budapest, and this is the UNESCO General Conference. It was 41st. This is the main organ of UNESCO, and it meets every 2 years in Paris. And me, as CIOFF representative, I was present all these meetings in 2011. But for this last general conference, President Philippe Osson proposed that he will assist the last week of general conference, and he did. So I didn't travel from Budapest to Paris, he was there. Generally, the main tasks of the General Assembly are always to talk about long-term policy and the main guidelines of this very big international and intergovernmental organization. So they always, every 2 years, they vote the budget. This time it was until 25, and the strategy. And this time it was the strategy from 22 to 29. And they also re-elected practically the director general, Audrey Azoulay. Her name was already mentioned today by Monica. Audrey Azoulay was for a short time a Minister of Culture of France, and she had her first mandate, and obviously she did well her work, so she was elected for a second mandate, and that will be the end, because the Director General can have only 2 mandates. As I said, I was not there, but, and of course, I asked Philippe Osson to write me a short report. I never received it, so if you want to learn more, you can also go on the UNESCO website. But as I told you, budget, strategy, elections, and of course, what is very interesting during this long, 3 weeks at least, conference, there are of course many events organized, many panel discussions, and so on. So this is the main event, which is happening every 2 years. It was last year, it will not be this year, but it will be next year again. Second meeting was also in Paris from 4th to 7th July. And this is not something new. In all my reports, you will find this. It is General Assembly of State Parties of UNESCO 2003 Convention. To explain it in a very simple way, 2003 Convention is something very familiar to us. Whenever we talk about intangible cultural heritage, we mention 2003 Convention of UNESCO. And all the conventions, not only from UNESCO, also other international organizations, they have to be ratified by countries. So those countries which have ratified, and there are around 180 countries, they have an assembly every 2 years. So just to make a distinction, because before I was talking about General Assembly. That means that they discuss education, science, culture, and so on. This assembly I'm talking now, it's only with countries which ratified the 2003 convention. So this year was about 180 states were present, and normally there are ministers for culture, UNESCO national commissions, experts, and what is quite new, also NGOs. You will remember that every time I have the opportunity to speak, I underline that UNESCO finally understood that science and especially culture and education are too important to be done only by government. So civil society is a very important part of it, and NGOs, we really made a big success by convincing the government part to be present also during this assembly. So this assembly is normally listening to the reports of the Secretariat's work for 2 years. They elect new members of the ICH committee. I will come after to this most important committee. They discuss global elections and so on, not to go into details. But I would like to mention the event which happened this year and which was quite a good surprise for us. First of all, the ICH NGO Forum Steering Committee, the president changes every 2 years. Now it is Mr. Laurier Torjean from Quebec, Canada. So he had, during this meeting, for the first time, an opportunity to present a report, and that was a really very detailed report on what the ICH NGO Forum is doing. And funny enough, afterwards, there was a big discussion if the NGO, which is coming from the state, from the country, which did not ratify the convention, if this NGO can ask for the ICH accreditation. There was 1 day long discussion because there were two opinions. The one who said, if the country didn't ratify the convention, so NGOs will have no support. And there were others who said, no, on the contrary, if the country didn't ratify the convention, at least NGOs will do something in the intangible cultural field. So the discussion was not finished, and we will see what will follow. It's not interesting for CIOFF, we are accredited. 3 times we prolonged already our accreditation since 2012. The most important outcome of this assembly was also the fact that next year, it is 2023, it means that we will celebrate 20th anniversary of the Convention 2003. On the intergovernmental level, because UNESCO is an intergovernmental organization, they have formed a kind of organizing committee, and they will celebrate this 20th anniversary, I'm sure, in a very nice and open way. But there were calls also to do this on national levels. It means those states who ratified the convention, in all your states, and also on NGO level. And you remember that we already joined UNESCO when there was 70th anniversary, for example, of UNESCO. So my suggestion is that some big events, we will organize them on in national sections or in sector session or on CIOFF International. Whatever we will organize, and of course, based on the Convention 2003, that we put this in the framework with the title CIOFF is celebrating 20th anniversary of the 2003 Convention. So this is only a suggestion, which was well accepted at the council meeting, but to give you more details on this, I think I will work with Monica, and we will write you a letter and give you details, and we will see what we can do together. What we know already now is that the South European sector is preparing a Mediterranean festival next year. So this is one of those events which could join this celebration. Then the event which is planned in Cali, in Colombia, we can also include this, and I'm sure that already on national level, there are already in some national sections, you already have some ideas. So this is about the second event I intended in July. Then the third event was 20th anniversary of the traditional street games, Toccati, in Verona. This is not directly linked with UNESCO and CIOFF. Not directly, it means, but it is indirectly, and I will explain how. Indirectly is because these traditional games will be put on the ICH UNESCO list this year. I will inform you at the end of my report that the next ICH committee meeting will be end of November in Rabat, Morocco. And this ICH committee is the committee who takes the decision if yes or no the proposal coming from a country will be put on the ICH list or not. These traditional street games are not as an element, but as a best practice. And this is not Italian proposal, but it is international proposal because Italy, France, Croatia, Cyprus, Belgium, and CIOFF. We supported this nomination. That's why I said it's not directly, but indirectly, because it will be put on the ICH list. And NGO, organized by NGO, this is also very important. This is not a governmental project. And a few years ago, I think it was 4 years ago, we wrote an official support to this best practice. So they celebrated 20th anniversary, and I was invited because there was also a conference as usual. I'm not going only to enjoy festivals, but always to talk. So I think CIOFF can be proud that some national sections, as it was Germany years ago, they cooperated with German government to put an element on the list. And now we have this case with Italy. Number 4 is one of the biggest events, and it is Mondial Cult. This was the largest world conference UNESCO dedicated to culture after 40 years. Believe it or not, they needed 40 years to gather ministers, and there were 135 ministers present at Mexico City. 150 states were represented, 83 NGOs, altogether about 2,600 people. It was really a very, very big event. Since it was in Mexico City, we decided that I will not travel there, but our vice president, Alejandro Camacho, he will attend the meeting, and he did attend the meeting, and I'm sure that you have all received the photos and also his report, because he distributed it to all national sections. So I see some movement. Alejandro, would you like to say something about it? Yeah, okay.
Gracias, Magdalena. Como ya dijo Magdalena, este es el evento más importante de la UNESCO en los últimos 40 años y estuvieron 135 ministros de cultura de 150 estados miembros o países que asistieron. Entonces, voy a presentarles un breve resumen de lo que sucedió en Mundiacul. Entonces, la siguiente. CIOFF tuvo espacio para hablar como ONG en la conferencia con el tema Patrimonio y Diversidad Cultural en Crisis. Por lo que pude participar en el foro, y además de hablar de explicar qué era CIOFF, qué es CIOFF y lo que hacemos, les comparto un poco el texto un texto breve de mi participación. En CIOFF estamos convencidos de generar políticas públicas que nos lleven a hacer de la cultura un objetivo de desarrollo sostenible, así como que la cultura es un bien y un derecho de todos los seres humanos, en especial de quienes hacen cultura desde las comunidades más pequeñas, con el fin de resignificar su importancia como fuente del patrimonio cultural de cada nación del mundo. 150 estados adoptaron por unanimidad una ambiciosa declaración por la cultura y con la participación de la UNESCO, con la participación de todos estos países, de Estados miembros, se adoptaron algunas resoluciones como que la cultura es un bien público global, y marcó así una hoja de ruta común para fortalecer las políticas públicas en ese ámbito. Mundiacul en cifras tuvo 2.600 participantes, 135 ministros de cultura, 83 ONG, incluyendo CIOFF, 32 organizaciones intergubernamentales y 9 agencias de la ONU. Tuve también, ahí está la imagen de CIOFF anterior, por favor, la imagen de CIOFF, donde está anunciado en las conferencias junto con los ministros de cultura, y CIOFF también estaba participando ahí. Siguiente foto, ya estamos hablando de lo que es justamente CIOFF. Y bueno, y al final tuve la oportunidad de conversar sobre CIOFF con ministros de cultura de Costa Rica, de Ecuador, de Chile y obviamente la ministra de Cultura de México, quienes mostraron gran interés en mantener una estrecha relación con cada sección nacional de CIOFF. Agradezco a Magdalena la invitación y que me hayan permitido estar en este gran evento de la cultura y que marca un rumbo nuevo de la visión que la UNESCO genera para el mundo de lo que es la cultura. Muchas gracias.
I really do thank Alejandro for being there and also making new contacts. It's, as I said, it's very important for CIOFF to be present at these big events. So if I continue, I mentioned these meetings where I participated. Next event happened in Paris also. It was a CIOFF festival. You remember it became nearly a tradition to organize a festival one Saturday evening. So I was not present, but I can absolutely agree that it was again a big success, like every year. And the last thing I'd like to mention is participating program. You know that those NGO with an associate status, it's not enough to be official status, you have to be associate status, that we can propose projects to be financed by UNESCO. We were quite successful with this in the past. In last 5 years, every year we proposed a project and it was always accepted. You will remember that whenever I was talking about this, I said priority goes to Africa, women and youth. So we had the first project with Africa and women, and then we continued with youth, and just now we have finished the one very interesting participation program. I think Laura Lopez, who was coordinating this project, maybe you will say something when you will present youth work. Yeah. So here we are. So this is the part where representative of CIOFF and also other people, in this case was Alejandro and Philippe Posson, well, bien sûr, when we are in UNESCO directly. There is one committee where we are not directly, and this is UNESCO NGO Liaison Committee. I have repeated several times that this committee represents the bridge between UNESCO, which is intergovernmental organization, and NGO. So it's an organ which has 10 members from NGOs or are NGOs members, and they come from all UNESCO regions. I remember years ago, it was not like that. There were only people mainly from France because they thought it's much easier for them to be present. But when Irina Bokova became a director general, she changed this behavior and she said, no, all UNESCO regions must be presented. And there were a lot of doubts how it will work, but it is working more than 10 years very well. Of course, a lot of meetings can be online nowadays, but this committee, one of the main tasks is to prepare international NGO conference. International NGO conference is taking place every 2 years. It was not last year, it will be this year. Normally it's in the middle of December. For this year, the dates are already known, from 14 to 16 December. And this is not a committee where NGOs which are dealing with ICH are present. This is a place or a space for all NGOs which have official status to UNESCO. So they can be working in a social field, in human rights field, and in all others. So why we joined in 2016, why we decided to candidate. First of all, because we have, CIOFF has an official status with UNESCO, and we were already at that time, we were known as a well-organized and well-structured NGO, so we presented our candidature. As I said, there are 10 members, but you have to know that 4 members must come from the NGOs which have associate status, and 6 NGOs from others, those who have consultative. And in UNESCO, there are not still a lot of NGOs with associate status. So we had a lot of chance to be elected. There are 4 members elected. It is much easier to be one of 4 than on the other side, one of 6, because those NGOs which does not have associate status are, I don't know, 300, something like that. You always present 2 candidates. One is just alternate. So we presented Philippe Bosson as the main candidate, and I was as an alternate. And we were elected in 2016, and after 2 years, we repeated this candidature and we were elected again in 2018. And to remember that at that time, Philippe Bosson was also elected president of this UNESCO NGO Liaison Committee. And in 2020, it was a pandemic year, there was no meeting, but everything was online, and also elections were online. And for the 3rd time, Philippe Bosson was elected as a candidate, but instead of me, there was Jean-Pascal Mariot. So, as I said, one of the main role of this committee, they normally meet every 2 months, many times online, because people are from all regions. That means from Africa to the States, Asia, and so on. And I think what they do very well last 10 years is also to organize big forums. I don't know if you remember, but Philip, years ago, they organized a big forum in Bulgaria. This year, as I could find, is just now, end of November. It's in Mexico City, another global forum against racism and discrimination. And in November, also in Ottawa, mobilizing NGOs for the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. So you see, it's not ICH, it's not culture, but as UNESCO deals with science, education, and culture, why not? If we have good candidates, we can also work outside our field with this ICH field. I have to say that since I'm not following this UNESCO Liaison Committee, I asked twice by email Philippe Bosson and Jean-Pascal Mariot to send me a report about this. I didn't receive it. So if you go on the website of UNESCO NGO Liaison Committee, you can find meetings, you can find minutes, so you can follow also this committee, which, as I said, is not directly linked to us. But of course, if we are an important NGO, we can also be active in other fields. So, my friends, these were meetings I attended in this period from November 21 to today. And there are still two very important meetings which will follow after we will leave Puerto Vallarta. The first meeting will be the meeting of UNESCO ICH committee. This is the most important committee for us. As I said, we are accredited to this committee since 2012. Of course, every 4 years we receive a very complicated questionnaire. We have to answer questions, and then until now we were lucky to get the prolongation of the accreditation. So this meeting is every year, but in 20 and in 21 was online. That was very difficult to follow. ICH committee, I say it every time, I don't know if you remember, but ICH committee is only 24 people. And at the meeting of ICH committee, there was never less than 700-800 people. It only shows how important this committee is. So you can imagine how difficult it was to follow online meeting where there were 1,000 people speaking all the languages and so on. But we are very happy that normal life is coming back, and Morocco is organizing this committee in Rabat from 27th of November to 4th of December. For the first time, I will not be alone. We asked also Laura Lopez, now the president of CIOFF Youth, but also as representative of CIOFF Youth to UNESCO. She will join this meeting. Also because the ICH Forum, which have meetings during this session, they specifically asked if she can come because they have a special edition, Heritage Alive, that's a book, and this started a few years ago, and every year they have a special subject. The first one is what it was about traditional medicine. The second year was about food. Last year was about instruments. And they always ask people to write articles to be published in this edition. And we were very successful because Laura Lopez wrote about food and it was published, and she wrote about instruments and it was published. And they said, we have to have this lady present at this meeting. Just to tell you, maybe for the future, that UNESCO has some special funds, some money to pay travel costs and hotel costs for people who would like to participate to this ICH committee coming from underdeveloped country. So that means the whole Africa and some other countries. We know that, but this year happened something very especially. These funds were not used. So, I don't know, people they are not still traveling so much or what. So we made a proposal to pay travel costs and hotel for Laura. We didn't have an answer, so let's hope that it will be done. And if not, we will know it for next year. It means we just can send the proposal, and if we get it, it's okay. And if not, it's not okay. You know our friend Marcel Zunan, who is from Africa. He's not here, but he is coming to all ICH community meetings, and he never pays €1. that it's always stayed by UNESCO, but that's Africa. So, and the second meeting I already mentioned, it will be this International Conference of NGO in Paris from 14 to 16 December this year, and not next year. Now, at the very end, I would like to just to mention once again, you were all informed that we have witnessing the big success of one of our colleagues, Mrs. Anka Rajic from Bosnia and Herzegovina. She was with us many, many years, and she was also Secretary General of the South European sector. She was awarded by so-called Jeonju International Prize. That's something I didn't hear about it before, but this year we paid attention, Anna Maria Boileau, and we had an idea because it's a little bit special. It's not just very simple for the work in the ICH field, but in different and difficult circumstances. And we were thinking how difficult it is to do anything in the country like Bosnia and Herzegovina, when you have three entities, no communication, no the dialogue. So what Ankara succeeded to put together these people, at least festivals, conferences, seminars, and so on, we thought that this is a great opportunity. So Anna Maria and me and an NGO from Bosnia and Herzegovina, we had to write supportive letters. We did it very well, I think. And then there were about 30 candidates. Anka Rajic was chosen among the three finalists, and finally she was the winner of this very important prize. We informed you, and it was also put on the website, of the website. So we knew this result somewhere end of June, and the ceremony in Jeonju City took place from 17th to 19th October. So it's very fresh. She traveled, Anka Rajic traveled to South Korea, and I would like to thank very much the national section of South Korea and Jay particularly because you were kind enough to come to Jeonju City and to accompany Anka. She had a lot of presentations there at the university, different forums. She was really speaking all the day long. And Jay, if you want to say, no, you don't want to say anything, okay. There are a lot of pictures which can speak when you look at them. So I think even if Anka Rajic is not here, I would propose a big applause for receiving this. Maybe this is not the last success of our CIOFF, but for the time being, let's stop here. Thank you very much. I remain open for the questions.
Any questions, comments?
Regarding that question of, you mentioned that there was a question that was unanswered about the governments, whether or not the NGO should be acknowledge the issue that's pending. You mentioned that earlier in the General Assembly. What is our position regarding that?
Our position where?
Oh, our position, you mentioned that there was still a pending issue before the General Assembly about government or countries that
talking about we have a special position because we are accredited to the ICH committee. I'm talking now on CIOFF International. Yeah, CIOFF International for the time being we have still the best position, of course. we have to be very, how to say, to pay attention not to lose anything. So we are in official relations with UNESCO, we have associated status, and we are accredited to the ICH. When it comes to the national sections, for example, you will have problems because United States of America is not member of UNESCO. They come, they leave, they come, they leave.
So the question is whether or not the groups, for groups that are not recognized, will the groups be allowed to participate if the country did not recognize that?
Of course.
UNESCO?
Yes, of course. We have NGOs from the United States, and they are participating. Yeah, for the time being, yes, of course. USA, now, when I was ambassador in Paris, I lived when they left, and when they came back. So it was a period of 4 years, you know. But they never, and they said that they would not ratify the 2003 convention. That's a very specific approach. But no, NGOs, until now, they were members of ICH NGO Forum.
Okay.
Yeah, also Rotary Club is a member of ICH Forum, for example, and a member of NGO Liaison Committee.
Oui, juste pour préciser et puis continuer sur la position de la Convention 2003, les 20 ans de la Convention 2003. Le CIOFF France en fait, travaille actuellement à organiser énormément d'événements l'année prochaine sur les 35 festivals. Nous vous labellisez aussi. Ce qui va être important, c'est de créer soit des conférences au niveau de la Convention 2003. Il y a aussi l'invitation de groupes ayant des danses ou des musiques appartenant au patrimoine culturel immatériel. Donc je pense que c'est très important que les présidents de secteur prennent cette cause en main dès maintenant, parce que l'invitation des groupes se fait actuellement pour les festivals 2023. Donc pensez bien à organiser des événements par rapport à ces 20 ans de la Convention 2003. On sait qu'actuellement, notre situation à l'UNESCO, effectivement, est bonne, sachant qu'on a le statut de membre associé, mais il faut continuer à le développer. On a eu la chance d'avoir Philippe très présent à l'UNESCO, et j'espère que ça continuera ainsi pour les prochaines années. Et donc, je pense qu'il faut absolument qu'on s'attache à créer un énorme événement pour 2003. Donc, c'est très bien que Magdalena et puis Monica travaillent sur cet événement. En tout cas, c'est déjà prévu au niveau du CIOFF France, et j'espère que les autres sections travailleront sur ce point-là. Voilà, c'était juste un commentaire.
Merci beaucoup pour nous donner l'exemple. So this is a very good example. It's true that you cannot do it last minute. These are things which have to be prepared. And, you know, not only to organize a folklore festival is not enough. We have to add something. We have to add a conference or a scientific seminar or something like that. And once again, not to forget, we are not alone. We have to work with UNESCO National Commission of your countries. Yeah, not possible. Sometimes it is something. Sometimes it's very difficult. Again, if I can help, I can always write a letter, as I did in the past, and we had some success. Of course, when I am attending these meetings, I take a specific care to talk about representatives of UNESCO National Commission from your countries, there where is a problem. And we made some great steps. I remember how difficult it was to get in touch with UNESCO National Commission of France, for example, years ago. I remember in Greece, it was practically not possible. In Italy, we have shown that it is positive, yes. So in some countries, I think in Serbia, you have no major problems to contact them. In Croatia, you have them as well, and so on.
In Italy, it was possible after 10 years.
Yeah, in Italy, 10 years. In France, also many years, but now it's going on, and these are good examples we have to follow. So let us know what you have in mind. How would you be able, I don't say how do you want, because we all wish to do the best, but sometimes we are limited by funds or by cooperation. So if you have an idea, let us know and how you see your possibilities to celebrate this. And with Monica, we will continue to think about some big events. As I mentioned, there are already two, one in Europe, that's South European event, and one in South America, but will be Mundial in Colombia. Yeah, I have a question from Netherlands.
From Netherlands, yes.
Yeah.
I just want to mention something because I don't know the importance of UNESCO. Of course, it's important to work with them. But I also think that we can be proud that we are the CIOFF organization and the festivals and groups that we have. And I think UNESCO, and we don't need to be afraid to lose UNESCO, but UNESCO also can be afraid to lose CIOFF. And I think that's a good position also worldwide, that we can be proud. We have the diamonds of festivals and groups. We are living culture together. And I think UNESCO needs us to grow. So I think that's also good with our position, that we don't need to be afraid, but just we need to be proud. I think that is important to share also with UNESCO.
Thank you very much. You are so right, but I have to tell you that we are not the only international folklore organization. There are other international folklore organizations, so CIOFF is one of them, and I think we persuaded UNESCO that we are the best of all of them. So this is very important. That's why I didn't mention that we were founders of the ICH Forum and so on, because I don't want to repeat these every year. And also the work which was done in NGO Liaison Committee absolutely showed that CIOFF is not only well organized, but that we also have people who can absolutely be at the same level as the governmental people in UNESCO. And the second thing I would like to say, I always finish with this sentence: CIOFF folklore festivals are the best implementation of the UNESCO 2003 convention. All what is written in this convention, all we do during our folklore festival. Thank you very much for your attention, and please let's go on and let's cooperate, because if we are talking about folklore festivals, even I am just a small representative of UNESCO cooperation, I still think that folklore festivals are the basis of CIOFF.
Thank you very much.
Are there more questions? I'm sorry. I'm here this whole day, so you can address questions directly.
Okay, dear friends, let's go to the next item. It's presentation by Commission, and it will be conducted by Alejandro.
Gracias, Norbert. Vamos a pedir a la Comisión de Cultura con Mónica Domínguez para que nos dé su información.
can sing a song, Monica.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to speak, to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal us.
This. For living traditions.
Country road, simply home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, na na na, hey hey, na na na, hey hey, na na na, hey hey, na na na. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. So who wants to join me in karaoke today? I promise that I will talk less the next days. I have 20 minutes. Thank you for introducing me, Alejandro. Very nice of you. I'm here to present the activities by the Culture Commission. I hope a lot of you have already seen this presentation. If you have questions, please already let me know during the presentation, then it is more interactive also. Culture is a very nice, interesting topic. We have already had a lot of cultural topics today. And, but I can't sadly start with a very happy first slide because I would also like to put out here that we lost a very, very good member of our team, Marie-Christine from France. And we are very sad of that because her contribution was very good. You don't have the translation. The Spanish is missing. Perdón, no hablo español. Sí. I don't also hear Spanish. Yes? Ahora? Sí? Now we have Spanish. Very good, thank you. So coming back to that we sadly lost a member, Marie-Christine, there was a very nice presentation at the beginning by CIOFF France. Thank you for that. And I'm very sad that Marie-Christine is not with us anymore. She was a very long time member of Cultural Commission and she was there before me. And it's very important to have people from previous times to remember how things have been. And it was very good working with her and she was a super lovely, lovely person. So she will be dearly missed by all of us. Now I'm putting on the screen for you to see all of the members of the Culture Commission. Some of them are luckily also here. So I will first start with the Vice President of Culture Commission, Lauriane Sosso. Lost my pronunciation is very bad in French, so Lauriane Sosso from Switzerland. So please, the class, please. The other person that we have here is a new member. She's also the YCC Vice President of Cultural Affairs. So we have Konstantinos Doris from Greece. And then we have other members who sadly cannot be here. From youth, we also have Facundo Gastelum, who is from Argentina. Sadly, he can't be here. He's also a YCC representative. And I'm very happy for the possibility to have more youth members in commissions, to get the energy going, to also exchange very good ideas with youth. And we have had many very good exchanges and we'll hopefully do more in the future. I'm very happy for the cooperation. We also had Yasmin Rodriguez from Mexico, who is not sadly here, and also Massimo Bolli from Italy. I will talk slower now. Thank you. So what we did in the springtime, we wrote to all of you and asked you to share the best practices, what you did during the pandemic, because we always know if you have a pandemic, you can't let it to waste. It has to be at least some kind of use. So we tried to make use of the pandemic, and we asked all of the members to share your best practices, interesting things, different projects, what you did during the pandemic. How did you organize your festivals? How did the groups try to keep their communication, their communities alive, and how you also try to keep ICH alive, teaching it, sharing it? What were the different projects that you did? So we had different 3 days of presentation of online versions. We did them in 3 different languages. One was in English, one was in Spanish, and the third one was in French. So these were the dates also, you can see them on the screens. So the summaries sent to us were 6 practices in French, so you could register that I want to do a French presentation in French. So 10 practices in English and 6 practices in Spanish. These were the countries who presented them. The live videos are still available on Facebook. At the moment, they are one big long video. We are still cutting them into pieces, and we will soon add them to CIOFF's YouTube page and also share them one by one to Facebook. So these are very, very good presentations, and I'm showing you also the examples. So the practices that we shared in English, for example, we had Indonesia, where you could dance together with the Indonesian representative. There were 2 practices from Italy. There was also, Magdalena shared very nicely, member Algaraic from Bosnia and Herzegovina received a very good prize, and a lot of her work was also about the digitalization of Bosnia and Herzegovina and ICH. And so you can see also a presentation about that. It is still available. We had 2 presentations from Estonia and 2 presentations from Canada. We had presentations in French. So finally, for the Facebook meeting, for the sharing, we asked 4 presentations. One sadly couldn't be there because of bad internet connection or Cameroon, but we had a presentation from 2 from France and 1 from Switzerland. Also very good examples of dance, festival, cooking, very different ones, and also in Spanish. So we had a presentation from Spain, 1 from Argentina, 2 from Chile, and also 1 from Paraguay. So I really want to thank everyone who participated in this, and I hope you had the possibility also to review the videos. There was some very good examples to get ideas from and to also share them around in your countries. Talking about the future plans. So what we've been doing now also, I recorded today's culture conference, and we've been trying to also retrieve materials of the past culture conferences. So the members of the Culture Commission, if you had a General Assembly in your country in the recent years, we are contacting you and asking for the presentations. So for the archive for one thing, but also in the future to share them also on YouTube, Facebook, put them on our new homepage to share the work that we are doing here. Because you saw today the presentations that we had during the culture conference, they were magnificent. I was so happy. And also, the same thing goes for best practices. I have the presentations of all today. They will be shared with everyone, not only who are here, but also the ones who are not here. Everyone can share them, watch them, and I think it is a very good example to share what we are doing in different countries. And then there has been the Photo Gift Book project that I will in a minute talk about later. And then there's a future project called Living Wedding Traditions that I will also speak about bits about more of these. So one thing is the Photo Gift Book. The name is For Living Traditions. The idea of the Photo Gift Book is to have a nice material of external communication. This will be a book, a nice gift, colorful of photos that you can give to your partners who don't know anything about CIOFF, to festivals that you might want to lure into the CIOFF family, So this, I think it's a nice gift idea, and I hope you all agree with me. I will present it to you now. So the idea, the structure of the book, first it's going to be an introduction, what CIOFF is, also a text about CIOFF youth, and a text about mass traditions. The photos in the book are from 3 different projects that we have had in CIOFF all over the years. So one was the 50th anniversary photo exhibition that was published last year in Hungary, in Budapest, in Shazalambata. There was the exhibition there, you could see it, so the photos will go in the book. Second, you're already seeing behind the door the youth instruments exhibition, which is very nice, and we want to share those photos. And next to the photos, there will also be a QR code, so you can hear the sound of the instrument as it is also in the exhibition. Thirdly, there will be the photos of the masks. The last project that Culture Commission did, and what I took also the Culture Commission project over from the former president Beatriz Samboy from Latin America, from Argentina, was the mask tradition. And the final thing of the mask tradition was the exhibition in Folkloriana. But we discussed it will be a very, very nice way to find a nice ending for that project. One idea was to put the materials on the homepage. Our homepage is what it is. And the second idea was to have a photo gift book of them. So we made these 3 projects all together into one book that will be a nice gift. And finally, of course, all the people who have contributed to the book, because a lot of you are in this room also, and lots of you are in your national sections that sent the materials. And I think it is very good and very important thing, work we have done over the years. And it's good to have proof of it and a very nice colorful proof. Shortly about the book more, the size is a square, about this size. This is smaller than A4. This will fit into your bag and it's easy to take with you. The most important number, if you are not so much interested in specifics of paper grams and everything else, is the one below there. The book weighs 1/2 kilogram, and this is the most important number, let's be honest. There are some visuals of the book. For me, it has been important. The focus of the book is on the photos. So it should be very simple, very clear, a very contemporary design for me. So here are some of the examples that the designer has made to show what the book in her vision looks like. I agree with this is also my vision. So here are some examples of different pages that I will now show to you. So this will be the cover. This side is the cover, the other side is the back of the book. The logo of CIOFF 50 Living Traditions, because this was just, at first it started also as a project of 50th anniversary. This will be an example of how a text and photo might live together. Another example of a page. There will be several photos on some pages, depending on the quality of the photos also. Example of the text again. The text is very simple. Hopefully we will have enough room. We have planned the book to be 100 pages. So hopefully we will have enough room for 3 languages. We try to keep the text very short, as short as possible. Let's use this phrase. And then another example also with the youth photo exhibition. Coming back again to the specifics. As I mentioned, the most important number is the weight. It is 1/2 kilogram. Second, this book idea has to be adopted by the General Assembly here, so I can move forward with this project that I have been working for 2 years. So the idea how the books will be distributed to the national sections, most important for me is that we don't print any more books than people need. We don't need to have the books at home or anywhere else, just to have them, just the number that we need. So there are 3 options to receive the books. One is at the spring sector meeting. Second, at the General Assembly in Croatia. And the third option is to get them by post to your home, but then the national section has to pay the expenses of the post. The Culture Commission will send to you a Google form, and these are the 3 options. How do you want to receive the books? First of all of the national sections, by my idea, will receive 5 books free of charge. The council approves of that. And then there will be a number of books for the EXCO and council to share as gifts on the behalf of CIOFF. So when you open the Google form, you can write there, I want 5 books, for example, in my spring section meeting, 10 books I would like to receive in the next General Assembly, and that is it. If you don't fill in the form and don't write where you want to receive the free books, the 5 books that you get free of charge, then we won't print the books. Very easy. At the moment, my prognosis is we have 110 countries in CIOFF. By very positive prognosis, I would say that 70 countries will respond to the questionnaire and would want to have the books free of charge. And also some extra books, as I mentioned, from the council. So I'm asking on the budget at the moment for 5,000 euros. 3,500 euros will be used for printing the free books. 1,500 euros will be used to pay the designer of that book. At the moment, it seems that the price of one book will be about 10 euros. It depends how many books are ordered and where they will be printed. But this is at the moment an estimation. I think it is realistic, and I hope you agree that this is quite an okay price for a book of photos that looks, I hope, gorgeous. I also think so, and it has 100 pages. So this is the idea I'm proposing to you, and I hope that the General Assembly will accept the idea so I can move forward with the book. Now this is the moment to ask questions maybe about the book. How does the idea seem to you? Yes.
Thank you, Monica. I've seen in this book a lot of photos from our photo competition. We have the copyright, but when I remember correctly, the name of the photographer must be printed when we have any publication of it.
Yeah.
We have to check in the conditions for the photo competition.
Yes, thank you for that question. I'm coming back to that slide of the structure of the book. It is written here that we will, next to every photo, we will have the name of the author of the photo. This is, of course, very important. We have to show who did this for different photos. It is, even if we get to the possibility to use the photos, for example, for the mask exhibition, we received several beautiful photos. Some countries' national section said just right under the photo, for example, CIOFF Estonia. Some also said, please also write the author of the photo. And exactly how this has been sent to us, this is the version that we will use. Any more questions?
Sí, una pregunta como sector, ¿cómo se va a mantener la proporcionalidad de las imágenes para que sea representativo de todo el CIOFF, de los sectores? Eso.
I am using the materials that we already have. I have not calculated how many percentages does one or the other sector have, because this is what we have been asking for from the sectors, and all of the sectors who have done their work and contributed to these different projects, the photo exhibition, the youth instrument exhibition, and the mask exhibition. These photos, if the quality is good enough to be printed, we will use the photos. So maybe I'm not very politically correct at this situation, and I should divide 10% of the book for each sector, but I think we have to put the work out there that has already been done. Otherwise, I am trying to compile the book for 20 more years. Yeah. All the there are sectors, from every sector there are photos. I can't tell you by percentage, but if you want, I can make a pie chart for you to show the percentages also.
Gracias. Yo quiero primero preguntar a todos los miembros de la Asamblea y a nuestra Junta Directiva, ¿cuál es la instancia en la que uno puede preguntar, plantear algunas alternativas y también, obviamente, reajustar seguramente algunas tareas? Primero, felicitando a la Comisión de Cultura. Si es esta la instancia en la que yo puedo preguntar y señalar algunas tareas pendientes, entonces permítanme hacerlo. ¿Es esta la instancia? Pregunto. ¿O hay otro momento en que vamos a proponer líneas, sugerencias, autocríticas, críticas, incluso de nuestra misma sección? Pregunto.
You mean the work of the Culture Commission? Or critique to what?
De la comisión y algunas sugerencias. Voy entonces a ejercitar el uso de la palabra unos minutos, solamente concreto.
If it's okay, I will ask for the comments at the end of the presentation in that sense. I will finish the talk about the book and about the next project, and then I will be happy to receive ideas. If it's okay like that, thank you.
Está bien, es que tenía que ver con el libro, tiene que ver con otras cosas. Está bien, bueno, al final entonces plantearé mi punto de vista. Gracias.
I will gladly accept the questions about the book. This is now the moment to ask questions about the book. So if you have questions about the book, then please ask them now. This is the book section. Other propositions I would like to gladly, that are not connected to the topics, I would gladly answer at the end. So if you have any book questions, please ask now. Is this translated to Spanish? ¿Tienes preguntas a este libro? Aquí. La comisión, por favor. If commission, then please at the end, if it's possible. About the book, please ask now the questions about the book, then I will continue. Do you have any more questions about the book? Thank you. Then I will continue, and we will come back to the other questions also. Thank you.
Gracias. Para esto debemos de aceptar o no la solicitud que hace la Comisión de Cultura del presupuesto para hacer el libro. Entonces debemos llevarlo a votación. Ella tiene una solicitud y debemos de llevarlo a votación. Yo quiero preguntarles a la Asamblea si quieren votar a voto abierto o quieren hacerlo a voto secreto. Sí, Rafael.
Es que no sé si se me ha pasado el detalle, pero para poder votar el presupuesto debíamos conocer previamente qué tirada va a tener el libro, ¿no?
Bien.
No, porque sabemos que cada ejemplar sale a 10 euros, más o menos. Y primero, y también le aprovecho para decir que puede haber varias opciones de publicación que a lo mejor abaratarían el coste. Si es que, por ejemplo, que se nos mandase la maqueta del libro a las secciones nacionales y cada sección nacional o algunas pudieran publicarlo directamente en sus imprentas.
Thank you for the question. This is a question about the book. I had different offers from very different countries, and I have done different researches what the printing would cost in different countries. It all depends on the amount. For example, the price of Estonia for 500 books printing is €4.90. Printing 250 books in India is €4.60. It depends. If you have enough orders from your country, then it might be cheaper to print in your own country. But the less books you need, the more expensive it's going to print them. If you only need 20 books, then the price will be one book, 25 euros, because this is color printed with quality paper.
Thank you, Mr.
Sí,
President.
era una primera pregunta para poner a su disposición que en CIOFF España tenemos creado una editorial. Tenemos una línea editorial con más de 50 libros publicados, en que publicamos como 2 o 3 ejemplares al año, porque tenemos una beca de investigación que después se publica, y entonces pues a lo mejor podemos conseguir precios más asequibles. De hecho, no hace muchos años, varias publicaciones de edición mundial las hicimos en nuestra editorial.
Yes, thank you for the proposal. At the moment, I have asked for prices from the members of the Cultural Commission and some of the sector representatives. I will try to find out now. I have asked, we don't know the answers of all the sectors, where the sector meetings are going to be. I will bring an example of my sector. For example, our sector meeting will be in the springtime in Poland. I have a price of the Estonia. I'm at the moment waiting for the price in Poland. Poland is at the moment searching the price for me. And we will see which is more cheaper, to print it in Estonia and to transport it to Poland, or to print it in Poland. So it depends on the countries. And I'm also not trying to find out only if it's cheap in that country where the meeting is, but if it's cheaper around in the countries. Because the prices are very different. For example, I don't know where the South European sector meeting will be, but I have the amount what it's going to cost to be printed, for example, in Italy. But if the meeting, for example, just a random example, is going to take place in Switzerland, then it's going to be super expensive to print it in Switzerland. It will be cheaper to get it from Italy, transported. So we are trying to find out the cheapest options. And if you have a very good printing deal, and I have the specifics of the books. I went to a print shop, I spent there the whole day talking about paper, talking about the weight. I have the ideal version that I would like to have for the book. If you have a very good connection, I would be very happy to use it. I think everybody would be, to get a better price on the book. And the better price we get, the cheaper the book will be for the others. So if you have these possibilities, I'm more than happy to get the contacts. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It is a great responsibility to vote about the budget. How can I vote if I do not see the budget for the next year? I suggest that first of all, I want to see the place of this project in the budget. And I suggest to come back to this question when we will see the budget for the next year. But before this moment, I cannot vote. I have to know where is the place in the budget of this project. So we can talking about the prices and everything, but where is the place for this project in the budget?
I don't mind moving the idea to go to the budget, or we could, I don't know if there is no point in deciding if the idea is good or bad. I don't know if there is a point, or we should leave it to the point of the budget. What do you feel like?
The same question.
Thank you. No, but the budget issue is a budget issue, and it is on the agenda later on. This is just the description what is done on that budget line, and concerning Joseph's question, the whole amount, as we had yesterday on our sector meetings. So no vote here on budget. Budget will be voted tomorrow maybe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, so we will move this item under the vote of the budget. In the meantime, if you want to discuss individually with Monica, she is here. Seeing that we are past 10 minutes, if you agree, Monica can pursue her presentation tomorrow afternoon during the General Assembly session. Is this?
And all the comments about the Cultural Commission that you have, I'm glad to listen to them tomorrow. I'm talking more about one future project that we have coming, and then I will be happy and glad to hear your proposals, what the Cultural Commission has been doing, like I have been asking for that every year and every council and every spring sector meeting. So thank you.
Okay, just to give you a little bit more details before we go on recess, just solamente una pequeña información para mañana. Tomorrow morning, we will have open forum, who will be conducted by Christian Hidalgo Maze. I'm sure you all will be extremely interested by the topic of the open forum. We are discussing post-pandemic challenges affecting the intangible cultural heritage events and the festival industry. More specifically, we're looking at these challenges from the perspective of performing groups, festivals, NGO, and cultural organizations. I think we want to reassign the position so it's more an open discussion and not a general assembly. And then we will pursue our general assembly session in the afternoon. Yes, please go ahead.
Excuse me, me disculpan, yo he sido viceministro de Cultura de mi país y he estado en UNESCO y he logrado 2 patrimonios inmateriales de la humanidad para mi país. Conozco algo de lo que es UNESCO. Entonces, ¿quién hace? Hay que felicitar a nuestra Magdalena, que ha estado trabajando muy bien. Sin embargo, hay una preocupación. Nuestra sección, Perú, quería utilizar el logo de UNESCO cerca a CIOFF. Entonces se nos ha dicho que no podemos usar. La gran pregunta es ¿por qué? ¿Estamos adscritos a patrimonio cultural inmaterial? Primera pregunta. Y si no está claro ese asunto, hay que darnos la tarea para lograr eso. Tiene que haber algún mecanismo. Eso es lo primero. Lo segundo, en 2003 se avecinan los 20 años de la Declaratoria de Patrimonio Cultural Inmaterial de la Humanidad, la Convención. Entonces la Comisión de Cultura debiera preparar desde ahora, todos nosotros, como política del CIOFF, trabajar con patrimonio cultural inmaterial. Y aquí hay una idea. Todos los países nuestros tienen patrimonio cultural inmaterial en la lustra de intangibilidad. Hay algunas que están en peligro de ser retiradas, porque la UNESCO nos puede retirar cuando no cuidamos nuestro patrimonio. Entonces, sería bueno que nuestras secciones trabajen con la Comisión de Cultura y le alcancemos a la Comisión de Cultura algunos patrimonios para realizar el año que viene una publicación expresa de los patrimonios culturales inmateriales en peligro de extinción como trabajo de CIOFF, y la UNESCO lo vería muy bien. Uno. Segundo, no podemos preparar una reunión, no sé si física, pero por lo menos virtual, en una plataforma especial que ahora se hace sobre patrimonios culturales inmateriales. Entonces, creo que la idea y el tema que se está discutiendo como patrimonio cultural inmaterial es transversal. Es decir, nos agarra a todos y a buena hora estamos respecto a UNESCO. Es el objetivo central, aparte de los festivales nuestros, porque también se llama CIOFF, no solo de festivales de folclore, sino también de artes tradicionales. Y los maestros aquí, como Hugo y Fran, lo han planteado en el Congreso de Chile. Entonces, trabajemos en esa mira. Estamos de acuerdo con el libro, pero una pregunta nomás, perdonen. ¿De dónde ha salido? O sea, todos nosotros estamos involucrados con el libro y solo la fotografía, o habría que describir algo para cumplir el papel también informativo, teórico, conceptual de CIOFF respecto a esas fotografías. Y los derechos de autor, eso es otro asunto que en el camino se resuelve. Entonces, esos son temas, mis queridos dirigentes, colegas de CIOFF, que quisiéramos que se tome en cuenta como política general de CIOFF. Nada más. Gracias por escuchar.
Muchas gracias, maestro doctor. Si le parece, mañana podemos retomar el tema. Son propuestas muy interesantes, pero hoy debemos de terminar esta asamblea, esta asamblea número 3, y continuamos mañana por la tarde después del foro en el que justamente lo que usted acaba de decir puede comentarlo justamente en el foro abierto. Muchas gracias a todos, buenas tardes y hasta mañana.